Today on the Morning Edition, efforts are still underway to clear debris from the Tongass Highway after last week's rock slide, but there is some good news for commuters today. We've got the very latest.
He's done amazing and incredible recovery.
A young boy nearly killed by a falling tree defies the odds. The powerful moment that has his family and his community in tears. And later,
hearing the people that had those huge, nice movies, and they came and complimented my little 5-minute video on my grandma.
from Wrangell to the big screen, meet the Alaskan teens turning personal stories into powerful films and earning a standing ovation far from home as the Morning Edition starts now. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here in a new week. Happy Monday. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We are talking about those temperatures this weekend. It was nice.
It was beautiful.
To get outdoors, plenty of sunshine. We'll see more sunshine today across South Central, although clouds will increase later today into the evening hours, which will mark the return to some areas of rain, if not some light chances for some wintry mix overnight on into your Tuesday. As far as what we're dealing with this morning, no concerns across South Central. We are sitting up under clear skies with temperatures sitting in the upper 20s with winds remaining on the calm side. And like we've been dealing with the past couple of mornings, just be careful and vigilant on those roadways as you could encounter some of those slick road conditions due to that freeze-thaw pattern we've been sitting up under. 14 in Talkeetna, 7 in Golcana. As you head towards coastal regions, you can see clouds already increasing with temperatures in the upper 20s and the 30s. We've got some isolated to scattered areas along the northern Gulf that will build inland later this evening on into the overnight hours, and that's where we'll see that chance for some light rain and some pockets of some wintry mix. But you can see this morning we are dry. There is an area of low pressure that's just to the southeast of Kodiak. That's what we're going to be watching. That's going to bring that moisture inland through the overnight hours. Of course, the better potential for any rain or areas of wintry mix will be the Gulf Coast region. Overnight or inland areas, we'll just hold on to that isolated to scattered chance for seeing some of that light areas of wintry mix overnight. Even as you head out towards Bristol Bay and parts of the Alaska Peninsula, seeing some light snow showers this morning. So we do largely stay on the dry side for your Monday. Outside of this evening, you can see those clouds steadily increasing. We'll warm once again, upper 30s and lower 40s to be expected. And even though weather has been nice the past couple of days and plenty of sunshine, considerable avalanche danger remains at Turnagain Pass, Seward, Lost Lake. Triggering of large and dangerous avalanches continue with that snowpack remaining very unstable. We got a week later, about 2 to 3 feet buried deep. I'll have more on that forecast for you in that 7-day forecast coming up.
Today's top story starting this morning. Travelers in Ketchikan, they will finally get a temporary way through after last week's rock slide, but schools in the district will remain closed. A single-lane bypass, it is set to open at 6:30 this morning, but only for 2 hours. It will close again at 8:30. It will reopen from 4:30 to 7:30 tonight to allow stranded vehicles to be moved. According to the city, these time windows are strict as crews can't work on clearing debris when the bypass is being used. A new travel schedule for the rest of the week will be announced tonight. City leaders say one of the biggest issues is boulders that need to be removed with care.
So far, so good. We've got a couple of real big boulders up there we're a little bit concerned about. If those were to go down the hill, it could potentially take out our power for the community. So that's a big concern right now, but so far, so good.
And that was Ketchikan Mayor Rodney Dial on Friday. At least 2 of those boulders have been broken up, but there is still work to be done. Meanwhile, today, the bus and water shuttle system remains active until the road fully reopens. Now to Saturday's deadly avalanche in Turnagain Pass. Alaska State Troopers say a group of snowmachiners were riding on the backside of Seattle Ridge when a teen triggered a slide in an area known as -1 bowl. The avalanche buried 16-year-old Tucker Challens of Soldotna. He was recovered Sunday by the Alaska Mountain Rescue Group. Troopers confirmed that his family has been notified. This morning, the Anchorage Police Department is asking for help finding 20-year-old Angel Jackson. She is wanted for escape after leaving the Midtown Center and was previously charged with assaulting an officer and trespassing. Jackson is around 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. If you see her, call 311 or you can submit a tip to Anchorage Crime Stoppers. Turning to Capitol coverage, the State House is set to debate a resolution today that recognizes and honors the long-standing relationship between Alaska and Canada. House Joint Resolution 11, it highlights economic ties, military alliances, cultural connections, and decades of cross-border cooperation. Lawmakers say the bill sends a strong message about the importance of maintaining that partnership, especially as Arctic strategy takes center stage. The resolution has already passed through committee. And a reminder, the deadline to apply for the 2025 Permanent Fund Dividend is just 1 week away. Alaskans have until March 31st to submit applications online at pfd.alaska.gov or through paper forms at distribution centers statewide. Late applications will be denied. This year's dividend is set at $17.02 per person, with payments starting October 3rd. Postal workers across the country rallied this weekend to save the U.S. Postal Service. This comes after President Trump suggested last month that the agency could merge with the U.S. Commerce Department. Postal workers and supporters lined the corner of Northern Lights and the Seward Highway this weekend. The event was organized by the National Association of Letter Carriers. Local union leaders say a federal proposal could strip the Postal Service of its independence, with serious impacts, especially in rural Alaska.
And they want to end universal delivery, which is the mandate that the post office delivers to all American households. And for Alaska, that's huge because we have such a large rural community that's not connected to the road system and relies on what's called the bypass mail system to get mail out to the bush community, to the rural communities in Alaska.
The USPS is one of the oldest services that the United States offers. The Constitution gives control of postal policy to Congress and not the president. So far, the president has not made any changes to the agency. Staying with political coverage, the Alaska Beacon reports hundreds gathered at the state capitol on Friday for a People's March, but it wasn't the only demonstration. In Fairbanks, protesters took to the streets, some speaking out against Elon Musk and federal spending cuts, others waving Ukrainian flags or calling on Alaskans to contact their members of Congress. The march ended at Golden Heart Plaza, with many expressing opposition to the Trump administration. The Trump administration members of the Doge caucus and even Senator Dan Sullivan have defended the spending cuts as painful but necessary.
I think most in this room understand that we have to root out wasteful spending, more responsibly spend the American people's hard-earned dollars, and have a federal government that finally starts to live within its means. Otherwise, we'll just be passing this mess on to our kids and our grandkids.
The next scheduled People's March is set for April 5th. It was a protest for a different cause that had visitors showing up at Mount Rainier this weekend. It is part of a growing national movement. Bridget Chavez reports.
Hey, ho, ho! Trump and Musk have got to go. Hey,
it's a national day of action.
This is the most beautiful place on earth, and we need to protect this.
This demonstration at Mount Rainier National Park is one of more than 140 protests happening across the country.
We're not going to stop. That's what I'll get out. Today is a good day of protests.
Organized by a group called the Resistance Rangers, the goal is to call attention to the protection of public lands and stand with federal workers who were fired by the Trump administration.
No Rangers means less rescue. No Rangers means more destruction to our fragile public land. They're preserved today because of those Rangers.
This week, a federal court ordered the National Park Service to reinstate about 1,000 probationary workers who were laid off in February.
I hope that, one, that it sticks and that it stays, and that they aren't attacked again, but two, that it is followed through and carried through.
Last year, more than 2.4 million people visited Mount Rainier. Demonstrators say federal workers are essential to keep the park running.
For them to target these services that so many people enjoy and so much wildlife and biodiversity depends on, I was outraged to hear.
Demonstrators say this fight is far from over.
We're not backing down. We're going down swinging as long as it takes to protect these parks, protect our forests, and protect anywhere natural.
The Anchorage School District is out with its Mount Spurr plan, including activating its Emergency Operations Center.
If I just hit this button right here, it would sit there and go through and shut down every air handler across the district.
Well, with a click of a button, district leaders can shut down its external ventilation in under 20 minutes remotely to try and keep ash from getting inside of the buildings. If school is in session during the eruption with ash fall approaching, the district said school will be released early and transportation for students will still be accessible. But if students need to shelter in place, the district said middle and high schools are prepared to take action.
If it was coming so quickly that you couldn't get them home, we would move them to one of the shelter sites where we have cafeterias, we can feed them, they're going to have water, and then we'll inform the public. We know that some parents would come and pick up their students, but we'll have staff there to make sure that we effect link up.
ASD has 22 emergency Connex units across the district containing items like masks, first aid equipment, and bathroom supplies. Elementary students can temporarily shelter in place if needed before being moved to a middle or a high school. Coming up, a 13-year-old from Homer spells her way to victory and earns a spot on the national stage. The word that sealed the deal and what is next for Alaska's new spelling bee champion after the break.
Well, things remain fairly dry today. We are watching tonight into early tomorrow morning where we could see some light areas of rain, if not some snow mixed in with that. I'll have more on that but first, the sunrise, 7:46 in Anchorage, 6:46 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back here on your Monday. Of course, Aaron, we mentioned coming off a gorgeous weekend, lots of sunshine.
And we'll still see some of that sunshine today across South Central. Still want to keep your attention to that fire danger across a large portion of South Central from the valley through the Anchorage Bowl down through the Kenai, which remains under a moderate fire danger. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, the ground's wet. We're still seeing that snow melting. Well, this fire danger comes from the lack of snow that we've seen across a large portion of South Central, and we are seeing things quickly drying out. And we're going to continue to hold on to this moderate fire danger for possibly quite some time, as we are going to continue to stay on the dry side as we welcome in the next couple of days. Now, there is a chance tonight into tomorrow we could see some light areas of rain, if not some snow embedded within that. Notice the past couple of months, yes, we have been seeing above average precipitation in January. A lot of that was driven by that rain that we did see, but none of that actually was able to seep into the soil, or maybe just a little bit of that was able to seep into the soil. As January, we did still see that ground remaining fairly frozen, so all of that water that we did see or rain became runoff and really wasn't able to permeate that soil. As far as what we're seeing across South Central, the area of low pressure just to the southeast of Kodiak, we do have a high pressure system as you head out towards Adak. This is where we are going to hold on to some clearer skies as well as some quieter conditions compared to the rest of the Aleutians throughout the remainder of today. As you head east of Adak, we've got some northerly winds that have been gusting anywhere from about 30 to 45 miles per hour. That combined with some snow showers that's occurring through the eastern Aleutians as well as the Alaska Peninsula is leading to some areas of blowing snow. That will stick around through the remainder of today. And you can see just some scattered periodic snow showers out through parts of the Aleutians. Meanwhile, here across South Central, you can see into the evening hours how that moisture begins to build in along the Gulf Coast region. We'll see that pushing inland through the overnight hours. We're just keeping with an isolated to scattered chance for seeing some light rain, if not some wintry mix. Not everyone will see it. Some locations will stay on the dry side, but keep in mind that we could see a few areas of some light rain showers and wintry mix overnight into tomorrow. And then as we transition into Tuesday, largely staying on the dry side with some sunshine returning outside of the coastal regions, which will continue to see some of that isolated to scattered areas of rain. Those temperatures today warming back into the 30s and the 40s across South Central. Still another nice day to be expected. And while we are going to largely stay on the dry side for South Central, you can see out towards Kodiak through the through the peninsula out towards the Aleutians, turning on the drier side to close out this month, while an uptick in moisture looks likely through the interior out towards the northwest Arctic borough and the slopes. So we'll be watching for that. In fact, later this week, there is a chance we could see some light snow showers for parts of the interior, which has been on the dry side for quite some time. 30s and 40s expected across Kenai out towards Kodiak. And again, you'll see that rain increasing throughout the evening hours, pushing inland, leading to that chance for some wintry mix. 38 in Valdez, 34 degrees in Golcana. A beautiful afternoon. Once those clouds do increase later today, we could see those temperatures slightly cooler in some places, but we're going to call it mostly sunny for the first part of the day. Then those clouds will increase, becoming mostly cloudy to overcast into the evening hours. But those temperatures still reflecting pretty nice. Upper 30s, lower 40s. You can see that late PM mix, early AM mix carries us into tomorrow morning. And then those daily highs stay right around 40s, overnight lows in the mid to upper 20s. So we're still seeing those cool mornings, but those afternoons, those are the ones that we certainly want to enjoy with those temperatures in the 40s.
Yeah, feels good. All right, thanks, Aaron, for the update. Well, it may not be Easter just yet, but in downtown Anchorage, some beautifully decorated eggs are stealing the show. They're called pisanki, traditional Ukrainian eggs. They're made by layering dyes and beeswax to create intricate designs. This weekend, Marnie Kaler taught a workshop on the craft while she works to open her own shop, Winter Solstice Sewing and Crafts. Kaler says the art form continues to connect her to a global community, and she's still learning with every egg.
And it's one of those crafts that there's a whole bunch of ways to do it. Everybody has a unique way, and just like every other craft, you can do a deep dive, and it's an unlimited sea of tools and tricks and tips. And just because the way I do it is not the same way that everybody else does it either.
Kaler hopes to use creative workshops in a future craft store to foster a helpful environment for other crafters by building a network to learn any variety of skills through other experienced hands. A new Alaska State Spelling Bee champ is crowned in Anchorage. Olivia Nordyke sat down with a young speller from Homer Middle School who will go on to the 100th National Spelling Bee in May.
Tomahawk, tomahawk.
That's the voice of Maho Hernandez, a 7th grade student from Homer and Alaska's newest state spelling bee champion. Hernandez took home first place with the final word, tomahawk.
I felt really proud of myself because I've been working at this for a while, and it was just very relieving.
I wish we would have gotten the phone call maybe 10 minutes earlier so we could have announced to all the students before they left. But the first thing I did is I sent a big group text to all of our staff. And my phone has just been blowing up ever since with responses from our staff to share congratulations with her. So we're all very, very proud.
Megan Redmond, principal at Homer Middle School, said Hernandez is a dedicated student and a voracious reader.
She takes her studies here at school very seriously. But above that, she is one of the most positive kiddos here at the school. She almost always has a smile on her face. And she's just an awesome kid to be around.
I want you to tell me a little bit about why you think you won. I tried to stay humble, and I worked really hard, so seems pretty straightforward.
Hernandez says she's been working to win the spelling bee for 2 years. After taking 2nd place in 5th grade and 8th place last year, she dedicated herself to reaching her goal.
There's an app, it's called Word Club, so I did the app, and there's multiple games that you can do on it. I did the list, I did with friends, with family, I spoke, I wrote.
Hernandez is returning to Homer with a first place title and a $3,000 investment in a 529 fund for future college expenses.
The victory settled in, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm gonna go up against a bunch of really good kids, and they're also very competitive because they have to win from a bunch of other kids. So I'm mostly scared, but I think if I just put my head down and grind, then yeah.
She'll represent Alaska in Washington, D.C. for the National Bee in May 2025. Olivia Nordyke, Alaska's news source.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.